Ever get that sinking feeling when your game freezes and suddenly you're staring at an error message?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely. Well, today
Happens to the best of us.
we're diving deep into the world of the PlayStation Network.
All right.
Specifically, what happens when things go wrong.
Sounds good.
And we're not just talking about the technical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at what people are searching for online when those dreaded PSN outages hit.
Interesting.
Because, let's be real,
Yeah.
we've all been there, frantically Googling, is
Like,
PlayStation Network down?
for sure.
Is it just me?
Yeah.
Refreshing that status page every 5 seconds.
Yeah, yep.
But those searches,
Yeah.
they actually tell a story.
They do.
A story about more than just frustrated gamers.
Right.
And we're going to unpack that story right now.
Let's do it.
So you know how sometimes when the internet's out, you end up cleaning your fridge or something?
Oh, yeah.
Just to avoid looking at your phone again?
Procrastination at its finest.
Mhm.
Well, it turns out there's a digital version of that happening too.
Really?
We found a bunch of searches for Krispy Kreme popping up right alongside those PSN outage queries.
Krispy Kreme. That's
I know, right?
that's interesting.
It's like people are seeking comfort food for their digital woes.
I guess when you can't connect with your friends online,
Yeah.
you connect with a donut instead.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
But it's not just about donuts and distractions.
Yeah.
These outages have real-world consequences.
For sure.
Especially for Sony.
Oh, absolutely.
We saw a spike in searches for Sony stock
Okay.
every time the PSN flickered.
Not surprising.
Like, investors are hitting that panic button.
Well, yeah, the gaming world is huge business.
It is.
I mean, any disruption to that,
yeah,
it's going to spook the market.
big time.
Big time. And that massive outage back in 2011, that wasn't just a tech hiccup.
No, it wasn't.
It was a full-blown digital earthquake.
It was a huge deal.
And we're still seeing the aftershocks today.
Like,
Just look at the searches. PSN, still down.
yeah,
It's like a collective memory of that digital blackout.
it's so true.
Like we're all a little traumatized.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
So what you're saying is
Yeah.
a temporary outage could actually have long-term consequences for Sony.
It could, for sure.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, look back in 2011, Sony estimated that outage cost them over $170 million.
seriously.
Yeah, and that's not even counting, the damage to their reputation.
Right.
Because it takes time to rebuild trust.
It does.
And in a competitive market like gaming, that can be really costly.
So the stakes are high. And
Definitely.
when those error messages pop up,
Yeah.
people aren't just sitting around, twiddling their thumbs.
Right.
We found searches for specific games like Call of Duty servers down.
Uh-huh.
Or is the PS4 network down?
Yeah.
It's like everyone's trying to figure out if it's, a global meltdown.
Right.
Or just their little corner of the internet.
Exactly.
They want to know, am I alone in this?
Yeah. It's about control. When things go wrong in the digital world,
Right.
we want to know why, how it affects us specifically.
Yeah.
We're not just a faceless mass.
We are individuals.
Exactly.
And speaking of not being alone,
Yeah.
the search data shows this really interesting shift towards community during these outages.
Oh, really?
Like we saw a surge in searches for PSN down Twitter,
Uh-huh.
PSN down Reddit. Interesting. Like people are immediately looking for that shared experience.
Right.
Confirmation that they're not the only ones freaking out.
It's like misery loves company, but online.
Right. It's like complaining about the weather, but for gamers.
Exactly. It's become a social event.
It has.
Like a digital campfire where everyone gathers,
Yeah.
swaps stories,
Yeah.
commiserates.
Totally.
It's fascinating.
It is.
And it makes sense, right?
It does.
When our digital lives get disrupted,
Yeah.
we crave that human connection.
Yeah.
Reassurance that we're not alone
Yeah.
in our frustrations.
But amidst all the, speculation and social chatter,
Yeah.
what everyone really wants
Yeah.
is information.
Of course.
Like solid information.
Right.
We saw searches for PSN update and PlayStation Network status outage just skyrocket.
Tense.
People want to know what's going on.
Yes.
And they want to hear it from the source.
Absolutely. And that's a really important point about transparency in the digital age. Companies need to be proactive.
Right.
Communicate clearly during these incidents.
Mm.
The longer the silence,
Yeah.
the more the rumor mill churns.
For sure.
And that just makes everything worse.
So it sounds like even though these outages are technically glitches, they have these like far-reaching consequences.
They do.
Emotional, financial, even social.
Exactly.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is, and it really begs the question as we become even more reliant on online services. How can gaming companies better anticipate and respond to these inevitable disruptions?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Well, folks, next time you're staring at that dreaded error message,
Yep.
remember you're not alone.
You're not.
And hey, maybe grab a donut while you wait.
Not a bad idea.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of PSN outages.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, stay curious.
Stay curious.